Today we're at Sandown Park for a open 20-minute practice with Sheen and George. And Charlie's just checking there if my camera was working or not. And I guess it is.
You're so small, how am I taller than you?
I'm literally taller than you.
And Charlie tried to insult me there, but he was proved wrong and he failed. As we see some carnage already unfolding in the practice session before. And you can see a driver is going to try and spin the cart back round and just ends up back in the barrier, so he's going to have to get pushed out there. Now, time to jump in the DMAX karts. It's actually a long time since I've been in a two-stroke at this time. This was, I think late January, and it was very cold, and I thought the track was completely dry, but I was proved wrong pretty quickly. And George is all the way over there, sadly, so I'm going to have to wait out for him on track. Hopping in number 40. And figuring out that the pedals are quite stiff, actually. As I'm trying to undo, but it's just completely stuck. And then we had to wait for all the Soli drivers to drive all the way back through the pit lane, which felt like an absolute eternity. And you can see they're all just stopping, and the speed limit in the pit lane's only 2 miles an hour, so it takes a long time for, I think, about 30 Soli drivers to get through. As you see, look, it's been already 20 seconds and this is on 5 times speed, and they've only just got through.
Can you move my pedals to medium?
Oh, no.
It's a bit stiff.
It is a bit stiff.
And the marshal's also having trouble moving the pedals, so I think he eventually just gives up on it in a few seconds, and he's going to go and fetch some backup. And by the time a marshal came back, I'd sort of already decided that I was comfy in the car anyway, so all that for nothing. Sorry, Daytona marshals. And after a whopping 12 minutes in the pit lane, being sat in the car, we're finally going out onto the circuit. And we already get a huge snap of oversteer and tons of understeer. And I thought the track was dry, but you just saw there was a puddle there, a puddle here, and another puddle here, which actually made the track more wet than dry, as sort of the water spread over the circuit throughout the session and made it more slippy instead of more grippy. And we almost go into the back of that guy, and that's our first ever take of the session. Now, going into the first corner, going in a bit too quick and almost going off the circuit there, using that exit curb to turn the car in. Now, following this funky driver in front of us and send one up the inside, and you can see there's already a back marker spun, but we continue on our lap, finding the grip as there was a huge wet patch on the inside of that corner, and we make our way past the other driver, trying to get some temperature in the rear tyres but struggling. We're going to make a lovely double overtake on these two drivers who were going way too slow, and we need to get past them. Now going down the main straight, head down, flying down the main straight. Love the two strokes, great fun. And we're going to go past this 114 driver. And we're going into this corner, and we go slightly too fast, and we're going to say hello to our friend Barry R. And we are completely wet. As you can see, my race suit is completely drenched. And yeah, not great fun. Now we're behind Yassine, going to try to follow him, as I've never driven these karts and they're sort of dry. And we've come up to some slow drivers here, and that guy just goes for a little lawn mowing session, and we'll figure out why there's a yellow flag, and there he is into the barrier, and that corner's going to cause some problems, as literally a lap later Yassine flies into the back of that guy, and that causes another yellow flag, and once again there is another yellow flag. And we see why, as someone else has flown off the circuit. Poor guy. and we're going to get going again. But we're going to wait up for our friends. But yet again, another yellow flag as someone else has spun at that corner, which is causing a lot of problems. And George actually overtakes us there. Lovely move from George. And I'm going to go to the outside, try and cut back in. But he covers it off. And we're in a slipstream. I'm just going to be careful not to smash into someone. George gets a bit slidey there on the brakes. And there might be a yellow flag, but it goes away. Now following George into this corner, I'm just trying to figure out where the grip is, and he does a lovely switchback on the driver in front. Going into the hairpin, following this other driver around, and we might be able to stick it around the outside of this other guy, and we do, because the outside turns to the inside, and that's a lovely move done. Now, see there's like a million karts in front of us, and we're going to see if we can get past any of them. So following this driver, we got past one, and then we thought about going up the inside, but he just flies off anyway, so that's a free position for us. And that's Yassine in front of us, going wheel to wheel with that driver in front of us, and he gets very slidey out that final corner, so we're going to take that position. And yet again, this corner causing troubles as George goes flying off into the barrier. Quite a hefty collision that, but yeah, the braking zone was getting wetter and wetter at that corner, which was causing quite a lot of problems. And we're going to try sweep round the outside of this guy, and he gives us just enough space using the curb on the exit. All the time you have to leave a space, as Fernando Alonso would say. And we're going to get past this other driver here, once again making another good move into the final corner. And still yellow flag here, as yet again another driver has gone off, and another driver there. Two drivers in one corner, and Yassine's gone straight back past us. Trying to find the grip on the inside, because there's a little bit of a dry patch on the inside, and there's a yellow flag once again, and Yassine decides to do some lawn mowing this time. And going into this corner, there's going to be some contact between George and Yassine. George was probably not best pleased about that. George's going to try and go for a cutback line, and you see the kart just bogs. If you don't have it in the rev range, these two-stroke karts just have no speed. As you see here, yet again another yellow flag, as even more drivers have gone off the circuit, and George goes firing off because he tries to go around the outside, and we take that position away from him. And George is caught straight back up to us on the next lap, and we're going to try and hold it on the inside as we try to go past Yassine as well. But once again the kart just seems to bog on the apex so much. Really needs to keep in the rev range as it's a two-stroke kart. And George is going to try and get past us, but I get held up by another driver. So it's going to be 3 wide going into the last corner, and then sadly all my momentum is gone as that other driver I got stuck behind. I managed to catch up, and they just absolutely murdered that poor driver. So they were going too wide, and then Yassine got pushed out. That poor rental driver just got launched. Trying to actually keep up with these two, and oh my god, is that sunlight? There's actually sun coming down the circuit, so hopefully the track might get a little bit more grip. We're going side by side with Yassine going down the straight, going to the inside once again, trying to do a little manoeuvre on him, but not being able to. And then going up this straight, you can see George once again just goes firing off and joins the carnage. And following Yassine once again, getting our head down, extra aerodynamic. And I've actually started to nail this first corner now, starting to actually being able to keep up with him into the second corner of the lap and into the third. And once again, this yellow flag. I was actually on a good streak of the first few corners. And what's happened here this time? I think they're just cleaning up the mess that George left behind. And there he is. There's George. And we're going to follow Yassine. Try pull off a switchback, and we might be able to this time, but no, not quite. As you see, nodded my head in disapproval. And Yassine sends one up the inside of the driver in front, who we're going to try to send it around the outside of, which switches to the inside, and that's probably my best overtaking corner on the lap. And that's already the end of the session, and wow, this session just went so fast. It's probably one of the most fun sessions I've done in a long time, but it was just absolute chaos. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as much as I enjoyed driving around. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.